What is the nicest thing you've ever done that no one knows about? This is a story about my father. I'm awakened by my mom around 1:30 am. Get up, there's a fire, we have to go outside, she says. I'm freaking out, but I don't smell smoke. I assemble outside with my mother and younger brother and sister. Down the street a townhouse in the same row as ours is engulfed in flames. I don't see my father around, so I ask my mom. He went to see if he could help, she says. I can hear the nervousness in her voice. My father is known to be rather bold. The story as it was told to me as an adult goes like this. My father arrives after the fire department and learns that a man is alive inside, possibly lost. The FD won't go in after the man because they do not feel that it is safe yet. My dad is like that. And, clad in only his long johns, breaks a window and enters the home. He finds the man at the top of the stairs, badly burned and unable to walk. He carries the man down the stairs and out the front door. The firemen treat my dad briefly for smoke inhalation and the cops take a statement. The man he carried from the house died after a week in the hospital, but his family was grateful that he had a chance to say goodbye. The county awarded my dad a plaque and Comcast gave us free cable for a year. He never talks about it, and it was so long ago that no one he knows is aware that it ever happened. About a week ago my 5-year-old asked me if superheroes were real. I told him the story of the day his grandfather was a superhero, and I almost couldn't finish. I hope that one day my son will feel that kind of pride in me. I was day tripping to Vancouver from Seattle and stopped in for lunch at a little cafe. From my window I saw a young teenage girl out in the cold, squatted down in a closed up business's doorway, holding a small bundle in her arms. She was panhandling. People were mostly walking by ignoring her. She looked just broken. I finished up my meal and went outside, went through my wallet and thought I'd give her $5 for some food. I got up to her and she was sobbing. She looked like she was 14 to 15. And that bundle in her arms was a baby wrapped up. I felt like I just got punched in the chest. She looked up putting on a game face and asked for any change. I asked her if she's like some lunch. Right next door was a small quick trip type grocery store. I got a can of formula for the baby, very young, maybe 2 to 3 months old, and took her back to the cafe though I'd just eaten. She was very thankful, got a burger and just inhaled it. Got her some pie and ice cream. She opened up and we talked. She was 15, got pregnant, parents were angry, and she was fighting with them. She ran away. She's been gone almost 1 full year. I asked her if she's like to go home, and she got silent. I coaxed her. She said her parents wouldn't want her back. I coaxed further. She admitted she stole $5K in cash from her dad. Turns out $5K doesn't last long at all, and the streets are tough on a 15-year-old. Very tough. She did want to go back, but she was afraid no one wanted her back after what she did. We talked more. I wanted her to use my phone to call home but she wouldn't. I told her I'd call and see if her folks wanted to talk to her. She hesitated and gave bad excuses but eventually agreed. She dialed the number and I took the phone. Her mom picked up and I said hello. Awkwardly introduced myself and said her daughter would like to speak to her. Silence, and I heard crying. Gave the phone to the girl and she was just quiet listening to her mom cry and then said hello and she cried. They talked. She gave the phone back to me. I talked to her mom some more. I drove her down to the bus station and bought her a bus ticket home. Gave her $100 cash for incidentals and some formula, diapers, wipes, snacks for the road. Got to the bus and she just cried saying thank you over and over. I gave her a kiss on the forehead and a hug. Kissed her baby and she got on the bus. I get a Christmas card every year from her. She's 21 now and in college. Her name is Michaela and her baby was Joe. This one is cheating a little because it wasn't actually me, but it has inspired me to do a lot more selfless things in my life. When I was 14 or so I went with my dad to Target. He was doing some general Christmas shopping, but also had a list from an impoverished inner city family. It was handwritten notes from each of 4 children in the family. They were instructed by the charity running the program to keep their requests reasonable. But my dad read every one and went way overboard. One kid asked for a video game for a previous gen system. My dad bought him a PS2, which was new at the time, and a bunch of games. One of the daughters asked for a modest desk to do her schoolwork on. He bought her a really cool one and threw in every kind of school supply she could possibly need. And so on for the other two kids. He ended up spending a lot of money on this family. When he saw how jealous I was of the PS2, I'd really been wanting one badly. He looked at me and said, "I want you to stop and really think about who this is going to and what their life is probably like and what it will feel like for them to open this on Christmas. If you do that and still want it, I'll give it to you instead." And so that's the story of how I got my rad new PS2. Just kidding. It's how I learned about the joy of giving and that my dad's a pretty cool guy. I heard a fight outside my apt one night. I looked outside and saw the fight, but couldn't tell if it was a man beating up a woman or a teenage boy. I couldn't find my glasses. I called 911 and told them what I saw, and while I was on the phone the man started dragging the other person around the corner of the building. I told the operator that I couldn't see them anymore and that I had to go. Contemplating bringing a weapon with me as I threw on shoes and pants, I decided it would be best to go barehanded. If the other guy had a gun or something, he would have already used it to subdue his victim. I ran outside and quickly scanned the area, and bam, there he was on top of this woman. He had stripped her and thrown her clothes on top of an 8-foot hedge. He was about her. I hollered at him to get up and told her to come stand behind me. It was January and she was naked and freezing. I quickly took off my coat and gave it to her, never taking my eyes off the guy. Now at the time I was in very good shape and probably looked a lot tougher than I do today. This was nearly 20 years ago. The guy looked like he might try to fight me, but I told him that I had called the cops and that they'd be here any minute and that his best bet was to get in his car and get the hell out of there. I got his lick plate as he drove off. The first thing the girl says is, "Can you get my underpants please?" So I climbed the fence next to the hedge and got all her stuff. I let her go into my apt and lock herself in the bathroom while we waited for the cops. When I was working as a summer job in our local hospital, I got paged to a room by a patient. Usually what they wanted for me to do is shift their position or get them some water or something similar. This time the old lady asked me to come to her and take her hand. She told me I don't want to die alone. I assured her that she would not die alone. After a few silent moments of her just staring at me smiling, she said thank you, goodbye, and then she died. When I lived in the city, an older lady about 90 got her apt robbed in my building. They went in and stole all her cash and took some valuables that she had. She did not have a bank account, so the thieves took about 30k, the lady's life savings. She was afraid of being evicted for the apt because she wouldn't have the rent money and did not want to end up in a state-run nursing home. I called the landlord and paid her rent in full for the rest of the year, 5 months worth, and told the landlord not to tell her it was me. I also had groceries delivered to her once a week for the next 2 months until she had some money saved from her social security checks. I never told anyone what I had done for her, and I don't think she even knew my name, because the apt building had about 50 apartments in it. The landlord was the only one who knew, and he wanted to tell her what I was doing, but I told him that I would deny it. I did not want her to feel indebted to me. She posted a letter in the lobby of the building to thank whoever had helped her. I took the letter down and kept it. The landlord still writes to me every few months to tell me how she is doing. She is still living in the apt 7 years later. I never told anyone. In high school we had a Valentine's card / rose delivery system. I think they raised money for charity or something. I'd pick a few people every year that I didn't know and send them an anonymous delivery. It had such an impact on the people who got them. I kept the tradition up through college and law school. I'll still organize random flower deliveries for people that I kinda know but seem like they are having a bad week. I was in a hurry and stopped at a gas station to fill up. While I was outside my car, a man came up to me and asked if I could spare $1 or $2 for gas. His wife and his daughter were traveling, but were broke and barely made it to the station. They had a broken down old Volvo, and it was clear that they were vagabonds of some sort who lived in their car. The kid was at most 2 years old. I was pretty low on cash myself, but I thought, hey, what the hell, I could use some affirmation that people can be kind if I were in their situation. So I swiped my card at their pump and said, "Fill it up. Good luck to you and your family. I hope this can get you where you're going," and walked away. He started crying as I left, and I would have lost it too if I wasn't too proud to do so in public. To see a grown man cry like that, both for having received an unexpected gift and for having to be put in the position of begging to keep his family safe, was one of the most profound experiences of my life. I haven't told anyone until now. A local flavored popcorn place in my town will ship popcorn packages to troops overseas. A couple days before Memorial Day I gave them my email address and asked them to send me the bill for the next person who came in and wanted to ship popcorn to their friend/family member serving overseas. If the person buying the popcorn asked why, they were just to say, "Because someone wanted to say thank you." I was too embarrassed to tell anyone.